So welcome everybody. My thought for you that I've been playing with this week is on the idea that we have the ability to go above and beyond ourselves, right? So we passed this week the equinox, we passed the International Day of Peace, we had, lots of things going on past the Jewish New Year. So there's a lot of things like packed into that small space. But what's been occurring to me, right, is that we build into our lives our practice of yoga, or we build into the lives that we already have our spiritual practice. And we don't always allow the practice itself to start to change our lives, right? So the idea that whatever you have already built into your day or built into your thinking or built into your life as this is how my yoga works off of my mat. And if that's something that you've never considered, that you are really only doing yoga when you're on your mat, then maybe start to take it into that wider place, right? That your yogic mentality, right? Your yogic understanding is weaving itself or is a part of your life every moment that you are alive, right? Every moment that you're existing, it's there. And so if we let the practice itself, right, our desire to embody all of the things that this practice asks us to embody or asks us to be aware of, is that our daily life is going to change because of that. It has to, right? So all of the great ideas that we have, and you can pick any one, right? Any aspect of a spiritual practice, of a yoga practice, you can pick any single one of them. But because this week was the day of the International Day of Peace, that's the one I've been focused on. Is that how are you embodying that in a way that is beyond just a habit, beyond just a thought that says, well, of course I wish for peace for the whole world, but I've got a life to live, right? I'm busy. I can only do what I can do. And what I can do is maybe I breathe for 5 minutes today with that thought in my mind, and that's great. And if you've gotten used to that, do something more, right? This is how we say our practice begins to develop, is that you build in that first foundational habit, the first space in your mind that says, this matters to me. And then you start to build it. You start to let it become a bigger and bigger and bigger experience. So your desire for peace, how are you embodying it in a way that is big? Not just the little habit ways, but what can you do that takes you beyond your normal wish for peace for the rest of the world, right? What can you do? Because if we don't ever let ourselves go beyond that first habit, it just becomes that. It becomes a habit. It becomes part of the busyness of our life instead of being a thing that our life is dedicated to, right? And so the mantra that we use for peace a lot is Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be peaceful, be happy, and be free from suffering. And the subtext of that is, may my life be in dedication to that goal, to that being the reality. So that there comes a time when no being has to wish for peace, because peace is just the reality we have. So can you embody peace, your desire for peace, that way? To the point that everything that you are doing has that in the background as the subtext. So that the rest of your life starts to really move itself in the direction of that desire for peace, not the desire for peace finds a little corner of your life when you're not too busy to notice it. Comfortable seat. Let your eyes close. So it's almost a question of how big do you hang that sign of yogi on your heart? Or does it hide behind all of the other labels and all of the other things that you have to take care of first? The desire for peace. May my life be dedicated to that. May this breath be dedicated to that. And yeah, I've got a lot of things that maybe I have to do. And all of them can be in the direction of creating a world where no being has to wish for peace. Because it's just there. And it's there because you are building it and holding it. So let yourself go in and feel the expansiveness of your breath. It's like the skin becomes transparent, they say. The breath goes beyond the skin. Can you let your awareness follow the breath, that as you exhale, how far can you follow that breath until you lose track of it? Because as far as you can follow that breath before you lose track, that's how far, right? That personal energy, that personal aura. That's how far that energy is in sync with you. So we expand that awareness. And if our breath can touch another being in its expansion, and we can be aware of that, then that's where we start to feel that inner unity. My breath is touching your breath, and your breath is touching my breath. So the peace I desire for me is the same peace that I desire for you. Let me build it for you, because you deserve it. And if I build it for you because you deserve it, I too will benefit. Let me build a world where you are at peace. Next deep breath in, stretch the arms up to the sky, eyes still closed. And like you're hugging a block between your hands or between your arms so that there's a connection, like you're creating a column, pillars, right? That reaching straight up says you are a conduit. You're a channel for that divine energy, for that energy that is what you think is beyond you. Move straight down that channel, straight down your spine. As it moves down through the spine, it changes you, right? As you bring it in, it allows everything in you to sync up with that vibration. So hug the arms like it's a channel and pull up through your ribs like that spine is a channel. And push down through your seat so that that energy that's flowing from somewhere beyond you is getting anchored into here and now. And then keep your spine this long. Bring the palms together. Let the hands come down to the heart center. But your spine stays just as lifted, just as long. That channel hasn't stopped. We'll open sound of Om. Deep breath in. And with the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Come forward to hands and knees. I think maybe we'll do some yoga. We'll do some asana. Start to find cat and cow, please, on your hands and knees. Good. I think it is a big deal now. It's always a big deal, but even more this time in the world, that your yoga can't just stay on your mat. Your concept of yourself as a yogi can't take a back seat to everything else. Because the more it takes a back seat, the more that bigger desire for there to be a world that is more peaceful, that's more free, that's more anything that we want it to be, is that's also taking a back seat. And if you're waiting for someone else to do it, someone else who's going to take the first step, or someone else who's going to be in charge, and someone else who's going to make it happen for you, then you will wait. And as long as you wait, are you still suffering? So we're asked with this practice to examine the way that you have been a part of and continue to be a part of the way your world operates. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And so where do those adjustments come from in the world? They come from you changing your habits. Not just changing your little habits, but letting yourself break open your day, break open your week, break open your imagined continued future, so that there's a place where you are actively seeking, what can I do that will promote, create peace, a more peaceful world, in a way that's very personal to you. You don't have to join the Peace Corps. I don't even know if that's still a thing. I'm sure it is. Bend your knees deeply, please. I know it's a long hold in down dog. Pull your hips back. Good. Pull those knees forward as you pull your hips back. Yeah. Nice, you guys. Good. Scoop the low belly as you draw your hips towards your heels and pull back. Nice. And then push the crown of your head towards your thumbs as you pull your hips back. I know, you still are in down dog with your knees bent. Beautiful. And then hips high to the sky, please. Pull up onto the balls of your feet. Yeah, squeeze your feet and your hands towards each other. Good. And then keep that squeeze, but let the heels soften towards the floor and press out wide through your fingers. Nicely done. Step your right foot forward between the hands. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. Beautiful. Left hand holds right wrist and reach over to your left. Good. Squeeze that right butt cheek back and in as you do. Good. Turn your ribs open a little bit more to the right so your right armpit spins back. Yeah. And then come back up to center, please. Nice job. Drop that back heel to 45 degrees. Come into warrior one. Good. You can step the foot a little wider to the left if you need. Yeah. Replace the arms back up to the sky. Good. Draw the low ribs in. Nice. And then take your arms out wide, cactus arms. Beautiful. A little twist to your right, please. Turning towards the belly, towards your front thigh. Your belly is turning towards your front thigh. Keep your back thigh lifting up and away. Nice. Yeah, and it's warrior one. So if your twist doesn't feel that dramatic, that's fine. Beautiful. Come all the way back to center, please. Stretch your arms straight up to the sky. Good. Take your torso forward, parallel to the floor with the arms extended. Hug your hands like there's a block between your hands. If you're not sure what that feels like, grab a block, put it between your hands and squeeze. I want your forearms awake. I want your armpits awake. Good. Reach out, reach out, reach out, and then push your butt back. Yes. And then release your hands down to the floor, both hands inside the front foot. Walk a little bit towards that upper left-hand corner of your mat. Good. I know you've been in warrior one for a while, so can you relax a little bit more? This is that yin stuff coming into my head. I know you've been here for a while, but relax. Good. Because there is a point in every posture, right? That there's a strength to it, there's an activity to it, and there's the point where you're meant to relax into it. One more breath. Good. Walk yourself back forward, please. Straight ahead. Straighten the front thigh. Step your left foot forward just a tiny bit. Come into Parsvottanasana. Good. Blocks underneath the hands if you need. Good. If the feet are right back behind each other, move them a little wider to the right and the left. Good. Back toes should be facing mostly forward here. If they're still turned out a little bit, that's okay. Good. And then scoop your belly, please. Yeah, squeeze the legs towards each other and relax the upper spine. Good. I've been using a definition of yoga, or a way of describing yoga, that comes from the Bhagavad Gita, and it says that yoga is perfection in action. And that doesn't mean that the things that you're doing, the actions that you're taking, have to be perfect. It means that you are already in a state of completeness, of wholeness. That's what perfection means. Nothing is missing. And if you're coming from that state, then there's nothing that you need to run after in the world to try and make yourself feel that. So it would be so easy if that was your idea of yourself, your reality of yourself. It would be so easy to be in the world and never intentionally create harm for another, because why would you? So perfection in action is, can you touch the place of wholeness that's already in you and act in the world from there? That every being matters as much as you matter to yourself. Good, you guys. Bend that front knee, step forward, top of your mat. Good. Feet underneath the hips, bend your knees, drop your belly onto your thighs, wrap the arms around the back of your legs, hug, drop your head, chin towards your chest. Pressing into your feet, scoop your belly up off of your thighs. Keep your hips low, but scoop your belly up off of your thighs. Good. And now lengthen your throat so that your shoulders are not hiked up towards your ears. Good, but still keep the chin dropped. And then start to lift your butt towards the sky, push down into your heels, straighten the legs any amount. Keep your belly scooped, keep your head relaxed. Good. Doesn't matter if your legs come completely to straight, but push through your heels, pull up through your sacrum, drop the head. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Right hand comes to outer left shin. Beautiful. Left arm comes to the sky, spinal twist. So you're anchoring the forearm or the hand against the ankle or the shin. So they should be pushing into each other. So your shins are pushing wide. And then your belly scoops in and you lift that left rib cage higher. That's it. And then release and come back to center, please. Pause for a moment there and then go to the other side. Left hand to right ankle or shin. Right arm reaches up. And again, you're scooping the belly almost like you're falling back at an angle, and then push the shins wide so that you can feel that the outer hips, the outer thighs are engaged. Big toe mounds root down. Good. And then bring it back to center, please. Forward fold. Beautiful. And step your right leg way back behind you. Nice long lunge. Good. Inhale the arms to the sky. High lunge. Beautiful. Right hand holds left wrist and pull to your right. Yep, side body stretch. Now, as you pull to the right, the tendency is going to be to push your left butt cheek out to the left, push your hips out to the left. Don't do that. Pull that left hip in so you stay on the midline, right? Your lunge stays really steady, but you're actually now arcing through that left rib cage more. So Babette, pull your left hip back more. Yeah, that's it. And now reach. Good, you guys. And then bring it back up to center, please. Nice. Release the hands. Drop that back heel to 45 degrees. So you can step it a little wider to the right if you need. Drop the heel. Warrior one. Front knee bends. Good. Arms up. Ribs moving towards square. So that right rib cage has to spin forward. Top of your left hip has to pull back. Yeah. So again, Babette, top of that left hip, pull it back. And everyone else who's also named Babette, pull your left hip back because it's all of you. Nice. Take your arms out wide, cactus arms, please. Twist to your left, so you're turning your belly towards that front knee. And as you do, that inner thigh of your back leg spins straight up towards the ceiling. So pull it back. Baby toe of the back foot gets really engaged. Nice. Good. Keep your fingers awake, but don't make your wrists hard. Relax your wrists. There you go. And then come back towards center, please. Arms up. Extend the torso forward, parallel to the floor. Pull your hips back. So even though you've been in a lunge for a while, this should feel almost like a little bit of relief because now you're doing something different. Pull your hips back. Good. And extend. Squeeze your hands like there's a block between them. Again, that column of your spine. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Inside the front foot, please. Walk towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat just a little bit. Good. Rest there. Again, keeping the front knee over the front ankle as much as you can. Good. And the back thigh is still lifting up and back. Beautiful. Perfection in action. If everything that you do is coming from already a state of wholeness in you, an awareness of wholeness in you, then how you live your life will change. And you probably can't imagine how, so don't bother trying. Just seek out the wholeness. Come back towards the top of your mat. Good. Step that right foot forward just a little bit, maybe a little wider to the right. Straighten both legs. Parsvottanasana. Use blocks underneath the hands. Good. May all beings be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering, and may my life be dedicated to that understanding. And generally that means that we have to understand it for ourselves first. But then we can get lost in that struggle. We get lost in the struggle of trying to figure out what makes us happy. So if you spend all of your time worrying about that, the big picture doesn't get your attention at all. So can you go above and beyond what is your normal approach? takes you to a place where maybe your mind discovers something different, your heart discovers something different about what peace means to you. Keep your feet awake. Pull your hips back. One more breath. Good. And then bend that front knee, please. Step the right foot forward, top of your mat. Good. Feet underneath the hips. Good. Bend your knees, drop the hips to chair. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Want that same energy though. So bring your fingers back down to the floor. Knees are still bent in chair, but round your back. So pull your belly up off of your thighs. Good. And then keep that and just start to extend the chest up higher. So pull the belly back and then lift the chest in line with where your belly is already going. And then arms up alongside the ears. So there's this feeling of the lift of chair is not from you pulling your shoulders back. It's from that low abdominals pulling back. Nice. And then press into your feet. Come all the way up to stand, please. Awesome. Right knee comes up and towards your chest. Squeeze in. Yeah. Good. Nice. Nancy, just let that, Nancy C, move that heel a little wider to the right so that it's underneath your knee. There you go. Good, you guys. Cross that right ankle on top of your left thigh. Yeah, bend your left knee, sit back, cross-legged chair. So it's something interesting to watch, right? When you pull your knee up, if your heel likes to angle in, that's your hip telling you that it likes to be tight or that it is habitually tight. Good. Butt goes back, you guys. Arms up alongside your ears. There you go. Like you're squeezing a block between your hands. Hug. Yeah. Pull back and pull forward, chest forward, butt back. Awesome. And then fingertips down to the floor, please, or blocks. Straighten your left leg, standing forward fold. Good. Still with the ankle cross, standing forward fold. Nice. And then as you're there, start to straighten the right leg, but bring the right ankle in front of your left. So straighten the legs, but cross the right foot in front of the left. So you're in a standing forward fold, right foot in front of left, both feet flat. Good. Now, as you get there, most of us are going to lock the back knee. So bend your back knee, bring your shins forward. Yeah, bring your weight forward. And then scooping your belly, press into your heels again, press your butt up towards the sky, but only so far that you're not leaning your weight back. And then you're not locking your knee. Good. Big toe, baby toe of both feet, finding the floor. Nice. If this seems like it's an odd amount of struggle on your legs, it is an odd amount of struggle because the legs are in a nice twisted position. Beautiful. Unwind the feet, please. Come back to straight ahead, feet underneath the hips. Good. Inhale, stretch the arms around and up, come up to stand. As you come overhead, interlace your fingers if you can. Press the heels of the hands up towards the sky. Again, hugging the upper arms as you push through the heels of the hands, push down through your seat. And then lift your chest a little higher as you start to come into a little bit of a back bend. Good. So from the armpits, lift up, and then the tops of the thighs pull up and back. Nice. And root through your heels and lean back a little more. And open the chest to the sky a little more. Keep pressing down through your heels, tops of the thighs back. Good. Nice, Pam. And then navel to spine, come all the way back up. Release the hands, please, and hug your left knee up and towards your chest. Now noticing as you lift that knee, if your heel automatically tries to turn in, angle in towards the midline, pull it wide. So again, you're training that outer hip to be in a little bit more neutral position. Good. Nice, Nancy. And then cross that left ankle on top of your right knee. I do like it when you guys listen to commands. Bend the right knee, take your butt back, cross-legged chair. Good. Arms up alongside your ears. Nice, Mia. Good, Mark. Good. Sit low, you guys. Take your butt back. So your torso is going to lean forward a little bit as you do that, and that's fine. Just hug the hands towards each other. So again, you have that feeling of connection through the arms into your spine. Good, good, good. Lean forward a little more. Take your butt back a little more. Don't be scared. Get low. Good. And then hands to the floor, please. Straighten the legs. Standing forward fold. Oh, you almost had it, Lana. Standing forward fold. Ankle still crossed. Good. So the right leg comes straight. Beautiful. And then begin to straighten both legs. So taking the left leg to straight as well, just crossing the left ankle in front of the right. So again, a standing forward fold with your feet crossed at the ankles. And then watch that the back knee is not hyperextending, that it's not locked and your hips aren't falling back behind your heels. So bend your back knee, let your weight come forward towards the front of your feet. Good. And then as your weight comes forward, you can scoop your belly, press into your heels, press your hips straight up. Find the length of your legs without locking your knees. And then as you find the length of your legs, let gravity relax your shoulders towards your legs even more. So the upper body relaxes as the lower body gets more extended. Good. Nice, you guys. And then unwind the feet, please. Come back to hip width apart. Beautiful. And then step your right leg way back behind you. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale both arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Good. Squeezing the front heel and the back knee towards each other. Beautiful. Take your arms out wide, cactus arms. And then twisting to your left, please. Turn the belly towards that front thigh. Good. Let your right forearm come to rest on the front thigh. Take your left arm over the ear, reaching at a diagonal. Good. So it's like a variation on a little twisting side angle. Good. Or instead of prayer twist, you're twisting in this variation. Good, you guys. Lift that left armpit higher. Yeah. Good. And then scoop the belly. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. Beautiful. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good. Lift your back knee up. Take your back heel flat. Baby toe parallels the back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. Good. Nice. Left forearm comes onto the front thigh, please. Right arm comes over the ear, side angle. You're squeezing the feet towards each other. Keep extending out from your ribs and from your hips. So your hip extends down to that back heel. Then your armpit, your rib cage extends up beyond the crown of your head. Good. Keep that right arm where it is. Take your left forearm off of your thigh and just extend it straight from your chest so that you're reaching in that crisscrossed way again. So Babette, left hand, same thing, Nancy S. Left arm extends straight out from your chest. There you go. Yep, you got it. You got it, you got it. Good, yeah, pull yourself open. Ribs open. Awesome. And then unwind it, please. Release that left hand down to the floor, straighten the front thigh, come into triangle. Good. Right arm comes back to the sky. So if that transition didn't go perfectly smoothly for you, that's okay. My fault as the director. Good. Beautiful, you guys. For a moment, can you bring your left forearm, or sorry, that's your right forearm, the one that's on the, no, it's your left forearm, sorry. Left forearm, the arm that's on the floor, bring it up against the inside of your shin. Yeah. And press it against your shin and press your shin against your hand so that you're not putting your weight down into that hand, but you're pressing back and in. Good. Awesome, you guys. And then bend that left knee, please. Release both hands down to the floor. Good. Spin your back heel up, drop the back knee again. Both hands are inside the front foot. Walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Drop down to your elbows. Good. And breathe. Nice. And so it's often said in our spiritual traditions that when we are overwhelmed with our own life, we're overwhelmed with our own responsibilities, we're overwhelmed with what to do next, that the answer is you're supposed to serve. Find someone, something to serve that has nothing to do with yourself. But then in that same state of overwhelmed, we're like, when? How? How am I supposed to do that? So there is that aspect of trying to make space in your life for there to be more of the actions that you want to be taking in the world, or to have more of the presence you want to have in the world. The actions are not all going to add up to the feeling that you want them to. The selfless service is an opportunity for you to feel that sense of connection inside, but you can find that in any number of ways. Walk yourself back up, please. Lift that back knee and take the left leg up and back, down dog split. That's why that definition of yoga is perfection in action, not actions that are perfect. Good. Bend that knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, still the left leg lifted, stack the left hip on top of the right, open. Yeah. And then as you stack the hip, nice and open, extend that leg back to straight, press out through your heel. Good, and keep lifting the hip, open, inner thigh open. Nice, and then scoop your belly, turn your toes back down towards the floor, level your pelvis. Beautiful, and then release that foot down, downward facing dog. And then slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Rising up to cobra as you find your belly. Drag back on the hands, lift the chest. Good. And downward facing dog. So if everything that we do is dedicated towards one thing, then everything that you do becomes the spiritual practice. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket there if you need. Inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Good. Squeezing the front heel towards the back knee. Elbows out wide, cactus arms. And start to twist to your right towards that front thigh. Beautiful. Good. And then bring the left forearm onto the front thigh, please. Taking the right arm over the ear at the diagonal. Turning the ribs. Yeah, and you're reaching through both arms, right? So don't just have that arm that's on the knee passive there. You're pushing into that arm so that your chest stays lifted, your ribs stay lifted. Good. There's no collapsing onto the front leg. And then unwind yourself, arms to the sky. Inhale. Good. So you come back to center. Yoga is all about coming back to center. And then release the hands down. Lift the back knee up. Drop your back heel. Come into warrior two. So your back foot parallels the back of your mat. Shoulders come over your hips. Arms extended straight out from the chest. Good. Your front knee is pointing towards the second or third toe. So it's moving just a little bit wide. And your right butt cheek is drawing back and in as a result of that. Good. Right forearm comes onto front thigh, left arm comes over the ear, side angle. So that doesn't change the orientation of your knee. Your knee should still be pointing towards second or third toe. That right butt cheek is still drawing back and in. Good. You're reaching long, that whole left side body from the hip down into the outer heel and from the ribs all the way up out through the fingertips. And keeping that left arm where it is, take the right forearm off of the thigh, extend the arm straight from the chest, and use the extension of your arms to pull your ribs open towards the sky more. Yeah. Pull through that right arm. Open the left armpit, lean back. There you go. And then you're coming straight into triangle. So drop that right hand down towards the floor, straight in the right thigh. Good. And left arm comes up. Again, use a block if you need, absolutely. Throat back, drop your chin towards your chest, you guys, and then move the back of your head back in space. And then let your heart follow that. Come back. That's it. Nice, Alice. Nice, Victoria. Good, Heidi. Nice, Rosalind. Nice, everybody. Beautiful. One more deep breath. Open the rib cage wider. That's all there is. It's just on the next breath, can you open a little wider? And then bend that right knee, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Spin your back heel up. Drop that back knee. Both hands are inside the front foot. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Come on down to your forearms. We can get out of that feeling that our spiritual practice is one more thing that we have to do. And that instead it becomes the background, the backdrop for everything that we do. So there's not a question of, as you're going about your day, is this action going to participate in creating a peaceful world? Or is this thought going to somehow find its way in the direction of creating a more peaceful world? If that is your true deep desire, then you put it at the background of everything that you do. You let it be the source of everything that you do. And if it means that you start to question the things that you say, the things that you habitually are doing every day, fantastic. So perfection in action. There is a point where the service to someone beyond yourself is what is able to take you beyond yourself. And at the same time, if you are still just reaching for a sense of connection or wholeness, then that also will take you beyond yourself, even if you never leave the house. You can still do it. But you have to want to. So can you switch? Can you go beyond yourself, what your habits are? Even if it's only for an instant. Walk your hands back in. Lift your back knee. Take that right leg up and back, downward facing dog. Down dog split, actually, right leg up and back. Good. And then bending that knee, taking your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. May all beings be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering, and that also includes myself. Hip is still stacked straight in the leg, press out through the heel. Good, lift the inner thigh higher. So that this breath, this action, even this down dog split is dedicated to creating a world where no one has to wish for peace. Scoop your belly, turn your toes back down towards the floor. Good. And then release that foot down, downward facing dog. Nice job, slide forward to plank. And lower down slow, coming through knees if you need. Good, point your toes back behind you, forehead to the floor, stretch your arms reaching back, interlace your fingers at your low spine. Good, elbows are bent, hug the upper arms towards each other. Again, that same column of the spine stays open. Good, and then start to extend the hands, extend the arms back towards your heels without locking your elbows. Lift those armpits a little further higher towards the top of your mat. And then start to lift up into cobra. Keep your feet on the floor, arms still in that clasped position. So a bound cobra, lift up the chest. Nice, feet down to the floor. Don't use your butt to do it, use your back to do it. I see you. Good, nice, Alana. Beautiful, you guys. And then release the forehead back to the floor, please. Good, plant the hands. Rise up cobra the traditional way, dragging back on the hands, lifting the chest. And here, even though the elbows are hugging in towards your ribs, can you also try and push your inner elbows a little bit wide? So push your inner elbows a little bit wide, but then hug your armpits in. That makes sense. Good, a little bit. And then release down, downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good, bring that knee forward and wide for pigeon. Right knee towards your right wrist. Cross the heel. Slide the left leg back. Good. And then outer left hip has to spin forward. There it goes. And then go ahead and walk yourself straight ahead. Find your resting pigeon on your forearms, on your forehead. Good. If you're doing pigeon on your back, you have your right ankle on top of your left thigh, and you're just putting a little bit more weight onto the left side of your sacrum. So you're moving your left knee so it stays in line with your left hip. So Diane, move your left knee a little wider to the left. There you go. Yep. Good, you guys. Perfection in action. Means that the things that you do are still going to be as messy and incomplete as they always were because you're human. But the place that it's coming from or that it's reaching for is whole. It's the root of the entire practice. And it's interesting, right, that this definition comes from the Bhagavad Gita. It's given by Krishna to Arjuna in the middle of a war. In the middle of a battlefield, he says, you can still be this even now. And in fact, this is the only way for you to get through a lifetime of this kind of challenge. He says, what else are you going to do? Because you can get through it and be miserable. Or you can use this battle, this moment, as an opportunity to create a world where no one has to wish for peace. So if that's what you stand for, whatever it is that you stand for, embody it. And do it in a way that's bigger than what you have already built into your busy schedule. One more breath. Sorry, I'm waiting because Mia has a special adjuster that's helping her. So I'm just giving her a chance to finish adjusting. And then walk your hands back up. Nice, you guys. If you're on your back, you can stay where you are. If you're coming up, I want you to bend that back knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, reach back left hand for the foot or the ankle, quad stretch. Good. Yeah, keep that left hip spinning forward even though you're reaching back for the foot. Nice. And then some of you will squeeze the legs together, take the right arm up to the sky. Some of you will stay exactly where you are. So Nancy, just keep that back knee on the floor, just quad stretch. Nancy S, keep the back knee on the floor. Good. And then release. Nice, you guys. Really good, Anne. Good. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, come back down, dog split, right leg up. Beautiful. And then step the right foot forward between the hands. Beautiful. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Beautiful. Hands at heart center. Beautiful. And prayer twist, left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And guess what I'm going to say? Beautiful. Yeah, I lied. Those people who are on your back, I should have had you come up. Sorry. I didn't realize I was going to do all this. I really didn't. Good. And then come back to center, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Step back, down dog. All right, we are going to pigeon to the other side. So if you're still on your back, don't bother getting up. Left leg comes up to the sky, down dog split. Oh, that's what happens. Bring the knee forward and wide, please. Good, left knee towards your left wrist. Slide that right leg back. Good, set your pelvis. Left hip moves back, right hip spins forward. And then walk your hands straight ahead. Good. And I know a lot of this stuff we talk about, perfection. We talk about perfection in action or what yoga is or what, it can mean in your life or should mean in your life, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of it's very abstract. I really want you to have a feeling of personal connection to your practice. So that the mantra, whether you use it or not, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, it means something to you. It means something for your own personal life, but it also means something for your connection to that bigger picture. And I promise that almost everything that I decide to teach comes from me being dissatisfied with me. So I'm in the same boat with you. But when we hit those walls of dissatisfaction, if we just keep pushing forward the same way that we have, because what we do is we create more dissatisfaction. So the answer, what is suggested is to serve. And it doesn't mean just do more. It means reorient what you're doing so that what you are doing is an act of service. And maybe that means you change your behavior. Maybe it means you do exactly what you are doing, but in a way where you are seeking, actively seeking a place of wholeness for yourself and for others. Where you're reminding yourself that what you truly want is a world where no one has to wish for peace. And that you can do that, be that, no matter how difficult or ridiculous your life has become. Right? In the middle of a war, Krishna says, you are still a yogi. And it's in that moment that it's the most important that you know what you stand for. So if only for an instant you can go beyond yourself, it starts to break that wall of dissatisfaction. One more breath. In case you're dissatisfied with this pose. And if you're on your back, this time I am going to ask you to come up. So walk your hands back up and maybe come into Anjaneyasana. So if you were on your back, step your left foot forward into Anjaneyasana so you can do this sequence there instead of in pigeon. Good. And then bending the back knee, please, reaching back right hand for the right ankle. So again, you can do that in Anjaneyasana if being in pigeon doesn't work. Good. And again, squeezing the legs towards each other so that back knee stays on the floor. And for some of you, you can lift the chest, take your left arm up to the sky. Some of you will stay exactly where you are. I don't know where you're going, Victoria. Good. Nice, Alana. Nice, Susan. Susan T. Good, Mia. Good, Lana. And then go ahead and release that hand, please. Nice job. Take the back toes to the floor. Lift that back knee. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. So again, wherever you've gotten lost, you can come back to that down dog split, left leg lifted. Good. And then step the left foot forward between the hands. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Really good. Hands at heart center. Good. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee, prayer twist. Good. You're turning your ribs, you guys. You're widening your inner thighs. Lift the left rib cage. Lift your heart to the sky. Good. Throat back, Andra. There you go. Yes. Oh. Bring it back to center, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Step back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And then drop the knees to the floor, child's pose. Breathe into the back body. Say the promise of yoga is it says that you are already perfection. There's nothing that you need to do in order to create that. But just understanding the concept is hard work. Because in our minds, we can't possibly believe that what we feel and what we see can be perfection. It doesn't fit. Doesn't add up. But it's not the specifics that create the perfection. It's that wholeness, that nothing is missing from you, right? The organization of your life might be a mess, but nothing is missing from you. If you can start with that, then what you do extended from that might be different. Walk your torso to the right, please, over the right thigh. Good. Crossing the left wrist over the right so you're reaching through that left side body even more. Good. And then come back to center, please. And walk the other way over the left thigh. Good. Right wrist crossing over top of left. Nice. And then walk yourself back towards center, please. Beautiful. Come back to downward facing dog. Good. Step your right foot forward between the hands, lunge. Yep, drop the back knee. Shift your left hip back so it's on top of the left knee. Wiggle your right leg forward to straight, Ardha Hanumanasana. Good, so you're not sitting back on your left heel, you're still upright, yep, but your left hip and knee are in the same line with each other, so they should be straight up and down. Good, and the right leg is extended. Walk yourself, both hands inside the front foot, do that. Both hands inside, walk yourself a little bit more towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Yep, and then you're gonna purposefully turn your right toes in a lot. So turn your toes in, pull your inner thigh wide, pull your butt cheek wide. Good, and then at the same time, I want you to push your left inner thigh wide. So as much as that right hip is turning in, I want you to push your left hip wide in the opposite direction. Yeah, nice, you guys. And then scoop your belly. This is just like what you did in down dog. You're now bringing your toes back up to center. So scoop your belly, pull that right top of your hip and thigh back in space. So back towards the midline. Your toes are gonna come up to face straight up and down. Good, and then drop yourself a little lower, maybe down to your elbows inside the front knee or inside the front leg. There you go. Nice, you guys. Good, and then walk your hands back up, please. Beautiful. You can either keep the hands inside here or take one hand on either side of the front foot and then start to wiggle that heel forward a little bit more. Wiggle your back leg back. So you're coming into full Hanumanasana. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. So I want a little hovering Hanuman. Good. And I really miss having you all with the wall because I would totally have you doing this in the handstand variation, the hanging Hanuman. So those of you who have a wall and know what I'm talking about, after class, do it for me. Lift that back knee, hovering in Hanuman. Yeah, squeeze your legs towards each other. Lift your chest higher. Nice, Katrin. Good. One more breath. And then drop that back knee to the floor. Please squeeze that right heel back and in. Come out of the pose by coming into Anjaneyasana. So squeeze that back heel in, bring it back to a lunge. I know. You're like, why would I do that? I usually just collapse out of Hanumanasana. Arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Yeah, today's the day that you stop collapsing out of your poses. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Hands at heart center, prayer twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. I know you didn't want to do another prayer twist. You thought you couldn't possibly do another prayer twist. You're wrong. Good, chest open. Nice, Nancy C. Nice melody. Good, Anju, I like when you smile. Come back to center, please. Arms to the sky. Pose of devotion. You don't give up. Even if it's messy, you don't give up. Release the hands down. Nice job. Lift that back knee, please. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Vinyasa if you'd like. Hang out in dog if you prefer, or take a child's pose if you want to pretend that I'm no longer here. If you really want to pretend, then you're one of those people who just turns their camera off. And I know if you have your camera off, it's not because you're ignoring me. At least it better not be. Just kidding. Downward facing dog when you are ready. Your practice is your own, right? If you need to ignore me, ignore me. Good. And then step the left foot forward between the hands. Don't ignore yourself. That's the important thing. Bend, drop the back knee, please. And then you're moving your right hip back in space. So it's on top of the knee. Wiggle your left leg forward to straight. Come up on the heel. Ardha Hanumanasana. If your mind is already like, oh, what we did on the first side, I don't want to do it again. Stop it. It's just Ardha Hanumanasana. Relax. Both hands inside the front foot. Good. Walk a little more towards that upper right-hand corner of your mat. Good. Turn your left toes in a lot. Take your your inner thigh wide. Take your butt cheek wide. Good. So you're really internally rotating that front leg. Good. And then at the same time that you're rolling that in, you're pushing your right inner thigh. So that's the leg that's holding you. You're pushing that wide, the opposite direction. Good. Just get deeper into your breath. The more you don't want to do what you're doing, breathe deeper. and make it an act of service. It's an act of service to your body, an act of service to your mind, an act of service to a life that has the ability to be more spacious. It does. Good. And then scooping the belly, please pull that left butt cheek back and in. Toes come back up towards the ceiling, but you're still pushing your inner thighs wide. Both hands still inside the front foot. Drop down to your elbows. Don't wonder if you can, just do it. Good. Your elbows might be on blocks, but lower down. Let yourself drop in. There you go. Nice. Good, you guys. And then walk the hands back up, please. Either keep both hands where they are or take the hands to frame the front foot, moving into that full Hanuman. Press that left heel forward more. Wiggle your right leg back. Come up on the ball of your back foot. Lift your back knee. Good. Yeah, so you're in a hovering Hanuman. So even if your hips can be on the floor, I don't want them on the floor. I want you to stay lifted so that you're getting more upright in your torso. Good. Chest up, chest up, chest up. That's it, Rosalind. You got it. Nice, Jen. Good, Mark. Nice, Babette. I know, no smiles in this pose. No one smiles in this pose. There you go. Good, you guys. And then drop that back knee. Come out of your pose by coming into Anjaneyasana. So you have to push into that back leg. Use your hip flexors. Use your belly to bring that left heel in. Come into that low lunge. Good. Knee over the ankle or a little in front. Arms up. Good. Hands at heart center. Prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. This is part of that going above and beyond. When you're tired, can you still pay as much attention to what matters to you? Your prayers don't stop. Your mantra doesn't stop. Your desire doesn't stop. But let it become part of a service to a bigger picture. Because if it's just you and you, you're going to get dissatisfied. You're going to get tired. You're going to get bored. Come back to center, arms up, inhale. That's why the answer is said. When you don't know what to do next, you serve. Because the answer is not going to come from what your mind is already doing. Release your hands down. Good. Lift the back knee, please. Step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Slide forward into plank. Lower down slow. Rise up cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. Nice. And then release back to your belly, please. And flip over onto your back. Good. Right ankle comes on top of left thigh, please. Lift that left shin parallel to the floor, reach through to hold. Yes, you're on your back, Victoria. There you go. Good. As you drag that left thigh in a little bit deeper, so drag it in, drag the knees in a little bit closer to your belly, pull in, pull in, pull in. Awesome. And feel a little pressing back of the thigh against your hand so you've gone as close in as you can go, and then you push back. Good, and release that, please. Keep the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Place your left foot down on the floor. Step it wide to the left, drop your knees to the right. Arms can go wide here to letter T or cactus arms. Good, so you're in a twist, knees dropping to the right. Good, right ankle on top of left thigh. The knee doesn't like having the ankle on top of the thigh, just step it off. One of our mental challenges with our practice is that we start wondering too much about when we talk about what's beyond us. We start wondering what it is. And really the teachings say you don't need to know what it is because your mind can't really give you the words. It can't define it. And the minute you try, you're going to turn it into something that you don't even want it to be. So you don't try. You put yourself in that place of not knowing and say, I'm just going to serve. I'm going to serve the place that's in front of me, the moment that's in front of me. Whatever the outcome of that is, if I'm coming from a feeling of desiring wholeness, perfection, if that's what I'm coming from to the best of my ability, that is what will start to present itself. And that's all you need to know. Right? We're also told in the Bhagavad Gita that selfless action is that you let go of any of the results. Come back to center, please. Plant your feet. Take your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Right shin parallels the floor. Lift that heel. Reach through to hold the leg and squeeze in. So you can do what you can do, or you do what you do. And the result that it creates has nothing to do with you. That's not the perfection. The perfection is that I see myself and others as already complete. They're not missing anything. But maybe they're confused. Maybe I'm confused. Cultivate that so that everything that you do becomes service to a world that is peaceful and where the circumstances for happiness and freedom exist for all beings. Pull that thigh in deeper. As you pull it in deeper, get it as far in as it will go, and then push the thigh back. Don't add the resistance until you've let yourself go deep in. Good. And then release the leg, please. Take that right foot down to the floor, left ankle still stacked. Step your right foot wide to the right, drop your knees to the left. And again, if the knee does not like having the ankle on top of it in this position, step it down. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering, and may I start to understand what the hell that means in a personal way. Because they're great abstract words. And it means nothing if you don't see it in your own actions. It means nothing if you don't feel like it's connecting with your life as it is and as it might be. So don't just say the mantra if it's a mantra that you use. Make it a background for the life that you live. It might take every once in a while going beyond what you think you're capable of, what you have the energy for. Only because it breaks open that concept that you don't have enough. It breaks open that concept that you couldn't possibly do things more or different. Come back to center, please, unwinding the legs. Good, set your feet hip width apart, arms alongside you. Good, elbows can be bent or arms straight, your choice. So bent into robot arms or straight alongside you for bridge. Good, pressing into your feet, drag your butt towards your heels, and then drag your armpits up towards the crown of your head. So do both of those. Good, and then get wide through the back ridge of your shoulders. Good. Feel the lifting coming from your armpit area. So your collarbones lift, your armpits lift, push down into the arms, and then continue to lift your ribs and then bring your hips up as well into bridge. So of course the hips are going to feel like they're coming higher, but you want the action to be really initiating from your back. Good. So you're not pushing through the hips and then letting the upper back do whatever it's doing, is that you're really lifting and lengthening through your spine. Hug those knees in towards each other just a little bit, just like you would hug your arms if they were overhead. Good. And then those inner elbows push just a little bit wide. Yeah, and hug your armpits in. Beautiful, you guys. Right leg to the sky. I know. Just for a breath, push up. Yeah. And then release that foot down. Don't give up. Left leg to the sky. Push up. Yep. Release that foot down. Don't give up. Deep breath in. Lift your chest. And then slowly release. Not giving up, but releasing. Beautiful. Pause for a moment with the spine flat. Knees bent. Good. And then bringing the bottoms of the feet together, please. Coming into Supine Baddha Konasana. So I'm leaving you here until Shavasana. So if at any point you feel that there's another spinal twist that you would like, you are welcome to do that. When this position becomes uncomfortable or no longer where you want to be, feel free to stretch the legs straight out into Shavasana. But this is where you are until that final rest. So make your decisions. Been watching Jeopardy on Netflix, make your wagers. And then let yourself fall into your breath. And fall into maybe the deeper desire of what peace might feel like. And what would you have to give up or change to feel that you are really living in the world in a peaceful way? Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. If your knees are still wide, bring them back together. Bring the body begin to move in whatever ways serve it well. As you're ready, knees come in towards the chest and roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Hands coming to the heart center, palm to palm, or into whatever mudra has been serving you well. Just like we cannot define that energy that is beyond us, and as soon as we try, it starts to become something that maybe we don't even want it to be. In the same way, that feeling of wholeness that we're asked to start from is we can't quantify it from right this moment. We can't take the contents of our mind and get it to all add up and say, okay, this is perfection. You can't do it, so don't try. But what we can do is by reaching for something beyond ourselves, as we start to open to a place where we don't have to know what perfection is in order to be it. We don't have to know everything that wholeness is in order to feel it. And if we can feel it, if that's the desire, that's the backdrop for what we do in the world, then what we do will come from a different place, and the results of it will reflect that. So it's not enough to just say your mantras, maybe even to know what they mean. It becomes enough when it starts to become the backdrop for your life, when your practice, whatever that is, starts to become the impetus for the rest of your life. You have to let your life change for your practice, not the other way around. So if even for a moment you can do that, step out of your usual, go above and beyond. Let your practice take a place in your life, in yourself, that is a little bit bigger. You might see that things change. But if you don't ever do that, step beyond yourself, then yourself as you know it is all you'll feel. And it will never add up to that perfection. It can't. So even for a moment, can you step beyond so that loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, or any other practice, any other mantra that you use, it all means the same thing. Again, my deepest desire to be to live in the world in a way where no one has to wish for peace, because that's just what we are. That's just the reality that's there. And as long as that is not the case, I will continue to practice. Do it for an instant. Make it personal. Make it real. But do it. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week until I see you again. Don't forget, Mondays, 4:30, masterclass, rearrange your life so that it works for you. That's my answer to your suggestions that you have to work or do other